This is perfect.
They're called alluvial fans.
You have me.
Testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Here I am.
Oh, you mad, impulsive fool.
Darn.
So ghostly, so beautiful, haunting. Over and over and over.
Over and over again.
It's like nothing in the world.
San Francisco.
Aspects of Dandaical decadent slander.
I do anything to get it back.
Perform a world.
A totally fulfilled person.
Perform a world.
Crayolas.
Totally thrilled.
Let's just do it.
Hi, everyone. It's Andy, and I'm at a beautiful beach in Santa Cruz, California. It's not exactly a warm day. It's a brisk, windy day. And I'm here on a working vacation. First up in this episode, we're going to go back a couple months to the beginning of summer in June for this 32nd annual San Francisco International LGBT Film Festival, otherwise known as Frameline 32. I'm going to take you along to opening night party, which I didn't stay too long at because the music was pretty loud. And then on my way out, I ran into Harjant Gill, a filmmaker with a film in the festival.
Got idea.
Hey, how are you? I saw your name on this list.
Are you handling the list?
Here we are.
Hi. Great. How are you? Happy festival.
John and Abe, Sandy. Hi.
John, Abe.
Wow. You look fantastic.
I do?
Yeah.
The trailers are
Hey, Harjant. Hi. Harjant Gill,
Yes.
where have you come from tonight to be here?
I came back from Washington, D.C. to be in San Francisco for Frameline, which is the Gay and Lesbian Film Festival.
You left our nation's capital to come to this wild, faggy adventure?
Oh, in a heartbeat. This is home for me. Today, the first thing I did when I got back was I grabbed a Mission burrito and went to Dolores Park and watched the sunset, and I almost cried because this is heaven, and Washington, D.C. doesn't even hold, anything to this. This is an amazing city, and I love this place.
I've heard it's pretty swampy there.
It is, and very yucky and very hot and humid, so it's so refreshing and nice to be back in this San Francisco where weather is beautiful, people are beautiful, lots of fun.
Well, we're having a hot spell now, but I would say it's a comfortable 67.
Oh, this is great. This is perfect. I can live in this for the rest of my life.
It's one of the few times I haven't worn at least two layers out on the town.
Yeah, and I love this. This is perfect. Hot for me is in the 90s, so this is nice for me. So this is kind of on the verge of slightly cold. So.
And yet, even though you're relishing our healthy California climate, you're out here amongst the other smoking refugees,
Well,
polluting your lungs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a typical San Franciscan for you. You have a drink, you go out for a smoke, and then you go back in. You have another drink.
Now, do you meet other smokers out here that you chat with and become acquainted with?
Yeah, sometimes. I just arrived, so I'm sort of just catching up with everyone and saying hello. So I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces, which is quite nice. I've been coming to this festival for about 5 years now, so I feel made a lot of friends, and it's a big reunion in the summer.
Well, I was wondering if, in addition to the people you already know, that being a smoker out here, you have kind of a coterie of smokers, and which you have a unlikely but obvious bond, and that you've now met a whole bunch of new people, smoking people.
Yeah, no, you definitely bond over smoking, especially when you can't smoke inside and you have to go outside to go smoke. You definitely meet new people. I just walked out, so I haven't quite met enough people yet, although I am already looking around and I'm like, oh, that person looks interesting, that person looks interesting, I want to go talk to that person. So hopefully I'll, over the course of the night, as you know, you come back around, you say hello and you start chatting up with other smokers.
It's also a catalyst for cancer, let's not forget that.
Sure, absolutely, which is why I limit my smoking only when I'm drinking. Which is
Oh, yes. Is that the old, theory that two wrongs make a right?
I guess you can put it that way. That's one way to look at it. So,
When I thought about coming to this party, I thought, should I come to the party early, when everybody's fresh and has a lot of energy, or should I come later when everybody's been drinking and their lips are loose?
I think it's always good to mingle and chat with people once they're slightly lubricated, because they're a lot more easygoing and a lot more as the night progresses. But then again, San Francisco, and everyone's nice to begin with, so you don't have to work very hard, which is quite another charm of this city. If you were in Washington D.C., it would take few beers or drinks before you can just go up to somebody and start a conversation.
Oh, you flatterer. If we were in Washington, would you be saying nice things about Washington and putting down San Francisco?
Oh, no, absolutely. I would not. When I'm in Washington, I am always talking about how great San Francisco is. So I was texting all my friends and making them jealous today when I arrived here and in such a beautiful weather. Whereas in Washington, D.C., it's, super, super hot right now.
It was a weird day. It was warm. But starting somewhere midday, it became very gray, and it's almost what we would call earthquake weather. Very, very gray and yet hot, and yet it was windy. And earthquake weather I think of as being more still and calm.
That's an interesting analysis of the weather. Unfortunately, I've never really thought about the weather being a specific way at the time of an earthquake, but I'm sure you can put it that way.
That's because it's a myth, Harjant. It's a myth.
Well, in that case, sure. It was earthquake weather, and happy that there was no earthquakes, because that was definitely... Yeah, that would have rained on my little parade. So. Yeah.
Now, do you have a film in the festival?
I do have a small film in the festival. It's only 10 minutes long. It's called Lot's Wife, and we shot it in Istanbul, Turkey last year. It's Turkish, and it's sort of a modern-day tale of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Well, I'm going to go home now, as we old people tend to do at around 11 o'clock, and let you young people dance the night away, smoke your brains out, have an extra drink for me, and hook up with somebody really hot.
I absolutely plan on doing all of the above, so I will definitely do that, for sure.
Later in the festival, I attended the premiere of Barbara Hammer's new film, A Horse is Not a Metaphor, and I saw Barbara for the first time in several years. If you don't know who Barbara Hammer is, go to my website, andystreasuretrove.com. There's a link there to more information about Barbara. Suffice it to say, for now, that she's a living legend in the world of experimental cinema, someone I count as a good friend, and she greeted me with a wonderful smile and big hug.
Andy's there somewhere.
Barbara!
I can feel it.
You look so good. You look like yourself, and I love your little tiny wrinkles here. They're very cute.
She had to point them out.
They're called alluvial fans.
Well, in the ground they are.
Yeah.
Are they here too?
Yeah.
The only one I don't like is that one. The one that kind of... I don't mind
Come this way.
those.
The light isn't
but there's
right.
one that goes...
Oh, yeah, see that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah, that's
sleep on it.
serious.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes for wisdom.
You should see me in the morning all puffy and white and wrinkly and horrible.
You know what I do? I use ice cubes to lift the eyes in the morning. To get rid of the puffiness, yeah.
But isn't it? It's a hard,
I know. I told
it's a hard
my
way
eye
to do it.
doctor, and he said, ice cubes, oh, you got to put something in between. No. It just makes the face all cold, and
Well,
you
you
know.
remember the first scene in Mommy Dearest?
No.
Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford.
Yeah. Oh.
She gets up in the morning and she goes into the bathroom and the basin is filled with ice and she sticks her face in the ice. So
That's right. Yeah.
hey, you know who I want to talk to for my podcast?
No.
You.
Oh.
You. You want to do it right this second?
Yes.
Barbara Hammer. Nice to have you back in San Francisco.
Andy Moore, this is my home.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you. It feels great.
And you're bringing a new film to Frameline 32.
I am.
Can you give me a little description? I'm about to see it.
Yeah, it's about how you have hope during a period of health crises. And in my case, it was ovarian cancer and many, many bouts of a very strong chemotherapy. And I was able to get through with resilience through guided imagery of a horse that was cantering across great, huge spaces. So as soon as I got well, I went riding at George O'Keefe's ranch, in Woodstock, New York, and at the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming. And I made a film called A Horse is Not a Metaphor for this kind of experience of something that most people don't want to talk about. And I hope that it is...
You mean horseback riding?
Yeah, exactly. I hope that it's uplifting, but I hope you have, as you said, you brought your Kleenexes.
Oh, I did?
Oh, that was someone else.
No, I do happen to have some, so thank you for having me get them handy.
Yes, right. It is. This is the premiere, so I don't know how an audience will react. So I'll find out very soon.
And how can you really interpret? I mean, are you good at interpreting how an audience feels based on how they react?
After a while, I will be. In fact, here's some wonderful Korean women who I know who gave me a beautiful teapot today.
Oh, really?
Lee Young, thank you. Thank you, son. Hi. Oh, it's so beautiful. They're showing their film tomorrow at noon.
What film is that?
Out Smashing Homophobia Project. It's a documentary film.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I was just interviewing Barbara, and
great.
she's been whisked away. Stephen Kent-Jusick, you're in San Francisco for Frameline 32. I know you come every year.
That's right.
Because you're looking for films to program for many of the things you are involved in, right?
Exactly. Which is mainly the Mix Festival in New York, the New York Queer Experimental Film Festival, which has been around for 22 years. So,
Tell me what's uppermost on your mind, Steve.
uppermost in my mind,
In general these days.
it's interesting. I was sitting in a program of short films earlier, and I was thinking, why are short films, I privilege them, why do other people not privilege them? Sort of like that kind of thing. And I wasn't even seeing experimental ones, but it's important to me that the short film be acknowledged as something in its own right, like that's not a stepping stone to a larger project.
Or a calling card.
Oh, yeah, I don't need that's right. Right. Stan Brakhage didn't make calling card shorts.
That's a whole genre that somebody should explore one day. Calling card films.
No, they don't. I don't think they need to explore them at all. I think they need to flush them. Yeah, and I don't know, but I do think that, for example, I always want to see more experimental work. So certain festivals are strong for that. Rotterdam is very strong with experimental work. I think Frameline could be stronger because I think it underestimates its audience sometimes, given the city that we're in.
That's obviously the fear, is losing your audience.
But I'm not saying
Fear or excuse.
I'm not saying let's program the most difficult structuralist experimental films at the Castro Friday at 9 p.m. That's not.
You mean
the answer.
Michael Snow on ice?
But we don't even have a gay Michael Snow. There's no such thing, really.
You have me. I once made a film that was accused of being like a Michael Snow film, but not as good.
I don't think I've seen that, so you should show that to me, actually. Oh, look, it's Michael Wall making a guest appearance in this podcast.
Guess who just stepped up?
Who's here? Stephen Kent.
Hi.
What brings you to town?
You guys continue talking. I'm going to try to wind up my thing with Barbara.
Okay, perfect.
And then I got to go in for the film.
Thank you for sticking with me through thin and thick, and it's very thick tonight. Lots of love, lots of love. People are the most important thing I found out. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here.
And now, leaving Frameline 32, I want to take you along with me to an experience I had, a very intimate experience I recently had with 3 other people. My partner Jack and our friends Valerie and Frank. Now, neither Jack nor I had ever done karaoke before, So we asked Valerie and Frank to introduce us to this new way to spend a Saturday night. We rented a room at Fillmore Karaoke on Fillmore Street in San Francisco. And well, here's a condensed 2-minute version of how we spent about an hour and a half.
You keep saying when you ought to be a-changing. Yeah. And now what is right, but you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking. That's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. Sex bomb, you're my sexy sex bomb. Sex bomb, sex bomb, you're my sexy sex bomb. Baby, you can turn me on.
All these sex bomb squad.
Turn me on, ooh, baby. That ain't the way to have fun. Only the lonely.
Hello? Good darling. This is Louis. Hello? Darling, never go away again.
Mr. Tom Waits singing Hello
Thank you
Darling.
very much. Thank you. My name is Brooke Shields. It was you, Jezebel, it was you. Jezebel, we can go on together with suspicious minds.
And if I could read Greek, I'd be in good shape now, but I can only read Latin, so...
Oh my God, what happened?
And her mama cried.
Yeah. And my mom, your mama. No, your mama cried. I don't care what's right or wrong. I'm George Bush, and I'm the decider.
Simply must go.
Baby, it's cold outside.
The answer is
Baby, it's cold outside.
this welcome has been.
How lucky that you dropped in. Look out the window at the storm. Thank you very much. We'll be here all week. Tell your friends. I'd like to thank the bartender and all the waitresses.
Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind.
That's like a joke.
Wow. And then you have to repair the sewer.
We were dissolving into laughter because when you're looking at the lyrics, there are also video images that you're looking at. And sometimes they're the original artists that perform the music, but for more than half of them, it just seemed like random footage. There was footage of condominium tours, and the one we were just looking at during Dust in the Wind was the installation of a sewer pipe in a street. By the way, my apologies to all the composers and recording artists whose work we may have devalued with our antics. As a matter of fact, while you've been listening to our little karaoke experiment, I've been sitting here on this beach, staring out at the sea, the clouds, and thinking about some of the big things, and particularly thinking about responsibility. And in that vein, I'd like to offer a few disclaimers. Andy's Treasure Trove is produced solely for the entertainment and enjoyment of our listening audience. Opinions expressed on Andy's Treasure Trove San Francisco and on andystreasuretrove.com are not necessarily the opinions of Andy Moore, the staff of Treasure Trove Productions, or our guests. Except when indicated, all rights are reserved by Andy Moore and Treasure Trove Productions. Any resemblance of characters in this program to real people, living or dead, is purely coincidental. This program may be offensive to some people. Discretion and parental guidance are advised. Certain copyrighted music played on Andy's Treasure Trove is for educational purposes only and is also meant to promote said music to the benefit of the composers and recording artists involved. The awarding of prizes for contests and other promotions is subject to the limited availability of such prizes, and substitutions may be made by Treasure Trove Productions at its discretion. Staff and family members of Treasure Trove Productions are prohibited from participating in such contests and promotions, and they will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law if discovered to be participating. Any rebroadcast or reuse of this program, in whole or in part, without explicit permission, is also prohibited by law. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say may be used against you in a court of law. Andy's Treasure Trove, Andy Moore, and Treasure Trove Productions are not responsible for lost or stolen items. This contract limits our liability. Read it. Portions of this program were recorded earlier. Please do not phone in for live discussion. No animals were harmed during the making of this program. Void where prohibited. Check your local listings. Keep off the grass. Your mileage may vary. And that's my message about responsibility. Well, it's getting cold now here on the beach, so before the sun goes down and the rats come out, I'm going to head in and prepare the next exciting episode for next week. By the way, if you are subscribed, I bless you and thank you, and I apologize to you that there's been some problems with subscriptions, iTunes, and there's no one to blame but Apple. But hang in there. Apple says they're working on the problem. I've just got to believe them. Thanks very much for listening.
Now forwarding B035 at window number 23. Now forwarding G048 at window number 14.